does tend to be a very lonely task, and even though there were still some elements of that, of, writing in solitude, we certainly didn't write the entire book in the same room together. Although there was plenty of times where we would start with being in a room and just talking through the plot and kind of giving each other ideas for what happens next. And we were never much, at least back then, big on outlines. And I think that perhaps to our detriment, but certainly we thought that it was going to be too limiting. And so we just had a very broad sort of stepping stone kind of thing, but that allowed us to sort of throw it to each other. Like you start here, I start there, and then just surprise each other with what that turns into.
And another aspect of that really I think helped out. A lot of people talk about writer's block, and you get to a point where you're stuck in the story, and you don't quite know what happens next. So it was a very easy situation to get to a point where you just would stop writing. You go, okay, I don't know what happens next, and you would, be free to pass that off to the other guy. And so that really helped kind of, eliminate writer's block, so you could jump to the next scene and pick it up, and pass the whole thing along, and knowing, in this case, Jim would fill in the blanks.
There's a real quality to a scene in which you know that you have to get from A to B. And if you're not experienced enough with how you want the overall story to progress, it's very easy to just sort of have your characters do what you as the author need them to do. And I feel like if you have too many scenes like that, that leads for a very predictable, very boring book. And so inevitably what makes great scenes really work is when some element of the unexpected comes in. And we just happen to be sort of lucky that our process allowed each other to kind of insert those moments naturally, where we would really be sort of flummoxed by, like, I don't know what happens next, and we would have to figure it out. And the more that we were allowed ourselves in that frame to get into the mindset of the characters, I think that really made for something that is, at times confusing and convoluted, but really at the best of it is a very naturalistic kind of whirlwind of madness.
I know. For me, it was like it's like having a safety net, and where I knew I had a guy who had my back, so I could do crazy things. I could enter that whirlwind. I could write crazy stuff, and if I went a little too far, you would pull me back, and vice versa. And I think it was like having a great editor that you could constantly bounce ideas off of. Where the process was just smooth and simple and very, there was no ego involved.